5 episodes of Star Trek, the original series Season 2, you can completely skip. When Star Trek, the original series TOS launched in 1966, it reshaped television forever. By the time Season 2 arrived in 1967, Gene Roddenberry's creation had cemented itself as a bold science fiction series that blended philosophy, politics, and space adventure. This season delivered some of the franchise's greatest hours. The Trouble with Tribbles, Mirror, Mirror, and Amok Time all became iconic. Yet for all its brilliance, Season 2 also included a handful of episodes that dragged down the overall momentum. Whether bogged down by recycled ideas, thin scripts, or baffling execution, these entries simply don't hold up next to the best of Kirk, Spock, and McCoy. For casual viewers or newcomers, these are the 5 episodes of TOS Season 2 you can completely skip without losing any of the essential Star Trek experience. 1. The Omega Glory, Episode 23. At first glance, the Omega Glory seems like it could be an epic. Captain Kirk encounters another Starfleet officer, Captain Ronald Tracy, who has broken the Prime Directive while interfering with a war between 2 alien factions, the Yangs and the Combs. What follows, however, is a clumsy mishmash of Cold War allegory, patriotic sermonizing, and recycled parallel Earth storytelling. The episode's fatal flaw is its climax, in which Kirk literally recites the U.S. Constitution and delivers a lecture on American ideals. While Roddenberry's intention was noble, the execution comes across heavy-handed, bordering on parody. Worse, it undermines Starfleet's core philosophy by portraying Earth values as superior to all others. For many fans, the Omega Glory feels like an embarrassing time capsule of the 1960s rather than timeless science fiction. Why you can skip it? The episode contributes nothing to character development, and its rah-rah America ending feels out of place in Star Trek's usually nuanced moral universe. 2. The Apple, Episode 5. On paper, The Apple could have been a thoughtful examination of religion, control, and free will. The Enterprise crew discovers a seemingly idyllic society ruled by a machine god named Vol, which demands complete obedience from its people. Kirk, Spock, and McCoy then debate whether interfering with this culture is justified. Unfortunately, the execution turns the story into a tedious morality play with little subtlety. Kirk's solution is to destroy Vol, freeing the people but leaving them helpless and defenseless. The episode ends with a strange moral contradiction. Kirk preaches non-interference while simultaneously upending an entire civilization. The script also struggles with pacing. Long stretches are spent wandering through a jungle set, fighting paper match monsters, or debating the Prime Directive in circles. What could have been a sharp exploration of faith versus reason devolves into an uninspired slog. While you can skip it, the philosophical ideas here are better handled in episodes like Return of the Arkans. Skipping the Apple means skipping a frustrating and repetitive entry. 3. And the Children Shall Lead, Episode 4. Few TOS episodes are as unintentionally unsettling as And the Children Shall Lead. The story centers on a colony where all the adults have died, leaving children under the influence of an alien entity named Gorgon, memorably played by Melvin Belli, a famous real-world attorney. The kids chant creepy rhymes, gesture menacingly, and manipulate the crew into near disaster. While the concept of children as conduits for evil could have been chilling, the execution leans into camp. The child actors struggle to make their scenes convincing, and Gorgon himself is less terrifying alien and more awkward uncle in a sparkly robe. Instead of tension, the episode often produces unintentional laughter. The climax, in which Kirk shows the children images of their dead parents to break Gorgon's hold, is manipulative and melodramatic rather than emotionally moving. Ultimately, it lands as one of the weakest hours in the entire series. Why you can skip it? This episode adds nothing to the larger narrative of the show. Worse, its hokey villain and poorly directed child performances make it one of the most skippable entries in the franchise. 4. Catspaw, Episode 7. Catspaw has the distinction of being Star Trek's only Halloween-themed episode, complete with witches, black cats, fog machines, and a haunted castle. On the surface, it sounds like a fun seasonal diversion. In reality, it feels more like a clunky crossover with Scooby-Doo than a serious TOS adventure. The plot involves two alien sorcerers, Korob and Sylvia, who create illusions to trap the Enterprise crew. While the aliens using illusions trope worked brilliantly in the pilot The Cage, here it feels recycled and silly. Sylvia's fascination with human sensation and desire for power is more soap opera melodrama than high-concept sci-fi. Even the visuals, which should have been striking, veer into camp. Watching Kirk and Spock wander through a Halloween funhouse doesn't feel like Star Trek, it feels like a gimmick. Though some fans appreciate its novelty, it doesn't stand up to repeated viewing. While you can skip it, the episode is pure filler, contributing nothing to character arcs or Starfleet lore. Unless you're specifically in the mood for kitschy Halloween vibes, this one is easy to pass. 5. Assignment, Earth, Episode 26. Assignment, Earth is technically the Season 2 finale, but it's not much of a Star Trek episode at all. Instead, it was intended as a backdoor pilot for a proposed spin-off centered on Gary 7, a mysterious human raised by aliens to protect Earth. Kirk, Spock, and the crew are reduced to supporting characters in what feels more like the first episode of a completely different show. The story has potential, time travel, Cold War espionage, and a charismatic lead in Robert Lansing as Gary 7. However, the episode spends so much time introducing Gary, his secretary Roberta Lincoln played by Terry Gare, and his talking cat Isis that the Enterprise crew feels like an afterthought. Fans who tune in expecting a Kirk and Spock adventure will be disappointed. Assignment, Earth is fascinating as a piece of Trek history, but it doesn't function well as a finale. Ending Season 2 with this half-pilot instead of a true Enterprise-centered adventure leaves the season on an oddly hollow note. While you can skip it, unless you're curious about what almost became a Star Trek spin-off, there's little here for TOS fans. It's a detour, not a destination. The problem with skippable episodes in TOS, it's important to remember that even bad episodes of Star Trek were swinging for the fences. Season 2 was experimental, often tackling themes other shows wouldn't dare touch: morality, politics, religion, and the Cold War. Not every experiment succeeded, but the failures highlight just how groundbreaking the successes were. Episodes like The Trouble with Tribbles or Journey to Babel shine even brighter when contrasted against clunkers like And the Children Shall Lead. The very fact that the series took risks, even when they didn't pay off, is part of what makes Star Trek endure. Honorable mentions: a couple of other episodes almost made the list. A Private Little War, an allegory for the Vietnam War that feels dated and uncomfortable today, though it's still more ambitious than outright bad. Obsession, a recycled Monster of the Week plot with shades of Moby Dick. Not terrible, but forgettable. Final thoughts. Season 2 of Star Trek. The original series remains one of the strongest seasons of the franchise, filled with episodes that are still beloved more than 50 years later. But as with any long-running series, not every entry is essential. If you're new to TOS or simply rewatching with an eye toward the best, you can